Deji Bademosi joins us now live from Lagos with more data and context on this particular story. So, Deji, this has been an interesting day as far as rate setting is concerned in your part of the world. But despite the policy changes that the CBN implemented prior to this, right, the naira had fallen by around 100% against the American dollar. From the 1st of September to date, it's gone as low as 1606 in the NAFIC window. From the governor's perspective, though, does he think that some stability for the naira is now in sight?
Absolutely, Rama. The governor, of course, and the entire Monetary Policy Committee are optimistic that there is some stability inside, especially in the Forex market. And we can begin to see that some of the measures taken by the central bank in the past weeks now, we can begin to see they are yielding some positive results. I mean, the rates are coming down in the black market. The CBN has decided, for instance, to start selling Forex now to the BDCs. So, you know, of course, you know, the CBN has taken a raft of measures in the past weeks. And to be candid, from what we are seeing, but the hope is that this is sustained. But we can clearly see that rates are coming down from around 2,000 naira to $1 now. We're looking at somewhere in the official market now of around 1,500 and just 1,580 as at today now in the parallel or black market, if you like. So obviously, we can see that, you know, especially in the Forex market, things are beginning to stabilize there. But the question is whether this will be for the long run, because we've seen things like this before, where it appeared the policies were working and suddenly, before you knew it, the rates started going up. So we're waiting to see what happens in the long term. But obviously, it appears that the policies are gaining traction.
All right, then. There's been a probe, of course, and I know we discussed this story some months ago, a probe into FX allocation. So the central bank has been doing, made under the previous governor, Godwin Emefiele. We had investigators at Dangote Group rather dramatically at the end of December into the first week of January. But we've not really had much ever since then. Have there been any civil or criminal charges that have come out of that probe?
No, not yet. Well, we know that, for instance, Emefiele, that's a former CBN governor now. He has been charged to court. He's facing charges now. But in terms of the probe that was conducted now on Dangote and some of these companies now, we haven't heard anything yet. The CBN governor actually alluded to that at the end of the MPC meeting today. He said investigation was still going on and that very soon we might see some people arraigned in court. But as at this moment, Rama, nothing has been heard. The government has not come out to say, you know, to accuse any of these organizations or any of the companies now of any infraction at all. But from what we're gathering, investigation is still going on. And the CBN governor did confirm that. So we'll wait and see what happens in the future, Rama.
Back in November, the central bank governor, they believe this was one of his big speeches, highly anticipated. I believe he was making it to bankers at the time. He argued that the MPC meetings have been, quote, largely ineffective. And the argument he was making was that monetary transmission mechanism in the country simply really did not work. Now, however, he's held his first monetary policy committee meeting. He's the governor in charge of monetary policy in Africa's largest economy. What's he doing to change that?
Well, when you look at, for instance, the decision taken today at the Monetary Policy Committee meeting now, you could argue to some extent that, look, could the previous management have done things differently? To a large extent, you would say, look, probably the previous management would have taken the same decision that this central bank, the new management of the central bank is taking by increasing rate by 400 basis points. I mean, especially where you have inflation at almost 30%, some people will tell you that the action that the CBN took today is basically textbook economics, if you like, because everyone had expected that there was going to be a hike in the rate. What nobody could tell was how significant it was going to be, and now we see that it's really significant. You look at the cash reserve ratio to really high at 45%. Well, what this central bank management is doing differently, I would say, is that the central bank governor did say that this management is going to focus squarely on taming inflation, which of course is a key mandate of the central bank. So what we're not going to see this central bank do, and the CBN governor has said that, is to do the kind of massive interventions. We saw the previous management of the central bank did in terms of pouring out money there into the economy, doing massive interventions, helping companies and all of that. We are definitely not going to see that. Like the Anchor Borrowers Program, for instance, we're going to see some kind of scaling back now with this current management. So obviously this management is doing certain things differently, but with respect to this decision it took today, I think given the current situation, the previous management of the central bank too would have done a similar thing. So, but other than that, we have a new CBN management that says it means business, especially with fighting inflation. That is going to be its core mandate. That's going to be its key focus.
Right.
And then ensuring that it gets a total control now of the Forex market. But then we just wait and see. It's still early days now. But obviously, this management wants to do things differently. Very
differently indeed, starting by essentially removing as much liquidity as they can out of the system. We'll see how this plays out in the long run. Deji Bademonsi joining us live from Lagos.